Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. If you haven't seen it already, I did do sort of like a part one of this vlog, which is my actual journey around Japan this time, in peak season April, where I have some thoughts and feelings about going peak season in Japan. It's a little wild, but this is technically part two of the vlog, where I'm talking about my haul. And so last time I went pretty crazy in Japan, and this time I didn't think I went too hog wild, but after seeing all the stuff I bought, I think I actually did. So this will be a big haul video, unboxing and everything like that. So first up, this arrived while I was in Japan, so it's technically not a Japan haul, especially since this was a US exclusive figure, but I thought I'd talk about it. I've got the Walmart and Target exclusive Kaioken Goku. Really stupid that they do the exclusives for not only specific stores but also country exclusives. And look, I know they sort of do that in Japan, but they have started doing the Tamashii Nation store internationally and do a lot of those exclusives internationally as well. So there are ways around it, and P Bandai is restricted to certain countries. It is frustrating, but the way they distribute figures like this is even more so. The way they distributed the original Zamasu SH Figure Arts is also disgusting as well. Just make things readily available, especially if they're meant to be standard release, because the aftermarket on things like this skyrockets even though they're only meant to be like 30 bucks. So anyway, I paid a little more than I should have for it, but it was relative to how much I usually pay for SH Figure Arts, so I wasn't too upset or anything like that. But yeah, pretty good. It's brand new and sealed copy, and the box is in pretty good condition, so I'm looking forward to checking that out at some point. Just going to put him to the side. But to the actual Japan haul. So I went about all over Japan, which is Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo. Did quite a bit. Bought a bit more at the start than I thought, mainly because I didn't want to have a lot of stuff carried around throughout the trip and be carrying it throughout the entirety of the trip before I buy any extra suitcases, as well as lug 2 suitcases around the country. Anyway, that's exactly what happened, because I played an Ichiban Coogi pretty much right at the start, which was a new Dragon Ball Ichiban Coogi based mostly around Cell Saga stuff. So they had normal Trunks, Hercule, Future Gohan, Vegeta, Angel Goku, Perfect Cell, as well as small prizes around that era as well. And Android Saga and Cell Saga is one of my favorite arcs. I love collecting the Ichiban Coogi Masterlized figures. They're really good figures, good scale and everything like that. And a new Coogi came out while I was there, so I pretty much had to go for it. And in it, I bought about 15 tickets, and in those 15 got a lot of the small stuff. So, got like some of the cups. The boxes are a bit beaten up because of how I stored them in the suitcase. I used them as sort of rough padding to make sure the other stuff didn't get too damaged. So I got a couple cups, got a lot of these rubber stands, so they're not keychains, you just like actually stand them up. And they're actually pretty good looking little stands. They're pretty cool. There are these canvas arts. They come with stands for them, and they're pretty neat, especially the Super Vegeta beating up second stage Cell. But those are the low prizes, nothing too crazy on those. The high prizes, however, I won the Hercule, and as you can see, this is a massive box. Takes up a noticeable amount of space in a suitcase, and I only had about a quarter or so of my suitcase to play around with at the start of the trip. So that was a big win, but I was paying for it later. And I also got the normal Future Trunks. And this is a really cool one. I wanted both of these. I wanted almost all of the Coogi. But getting those in 15 tickets, I think, was a pretty good win. Afterwards, I don't think I bought anything else in Nagoya. It was mainly food-based there, and me just trying to figure out a plan for what will come next for the trip. After that, went to Hiroshima. Played on the Crane Games a lot in Hiroshima, didn't really win anything at all. I was aiming specifically for some One Piece figures, didn't get any of them. But what I did find was interesting. So it was in the store Yellow Submarine, which does a lot of hobby supplies and things like that. The Hiroshima one is very small, but has some pretty good stuff. They had the SH Figure Arts Trafalgar Law, which came out recently at that point in time, so I was pretty happy to grab that, especially since I wasn't able to get one online prior to this. So I will be reviewing that at some point. And they also had the reissue of Future Trunks. So while I've got the original, the reissue version apparently fixes all the QC issues that the original had. I didn't have that bad QC on it, but from what I've seen, this improves everything, so I wouldn't have minded just a second figure anyway, but a vastly improved figure I really, really wanted, so I grabbed that as soon as I could. And there is a visual way to tell between the original and the re-release. It has to do with the Tamashii Nations quality sticker. The original is way bigger, this is the new sticker, it's quite a bit smaller, so it is noticeable at a glance. That was pretty much it in Hiroshima. I didn't buy too much there, but then when we got to Osaka, I went a little bit hog wild. So my greatest achievement is that I won on a crane game and I got a Marin Kitagawa. This is the Marin Corfle from Taito, and the Corfle line are very good. I've documented them multiple times on this channel, and I wanted to grab Marin in her normal outfit. If it's anything like some of the other Corfles, this will be a fantastic figure. They actually had two different Corfle Marins while I was there, which was cool. I didn't want to try for both just because I don't want to think about how much that one took me to win, but it is what it is. Shortly after that, in a single go on a crane game, I won this Gear 5 Luffy mini WCF figure, which I was pretty happy about. I wouldn't have minded the bug out eye one either, but I liked the running one too. And I also got this little Boa Hancock WCF in a few goes. But yeah, pretty happy that I was able to redeem myself in terms of like difficulty of getting something from the crane games with something that was completely skill based, and I was able to get it. So I was pretty happy about that. Instead of going for cranes again, I just straight up bought the Corfle Atelier Riser figure. It wasn't too expensive, it was 2,200 yen, so pretty happy about that. Then instead of pulling further on the Ichiban Coogi, I just straight up bought Future Gohan. Perfect Cell still eludes me, as well as the final prize, the last prize, Goku and King Kai, but I am still tracking those down. But I am happy I was able to get a good chunk of the figures while I was actually in Japan. Makes it easier tax and shipping wise and things like that. Then I spotted in one of the pre-owned stores something that I wasn't expecting to see at all. Two of the Grail figures that I've been hunting at pretty damn good prices. So, Perfect Cell, the premium color version, which is more anime accurate colors, like brighter greens and things like that. This one was, I think, is 13,000 yen, which I think is going rate right now is like 16 to 18 to 20,000 yen. So I was pretty happy about that. There are some minor paint errors on it, but it is a very old figure, so I think that's expected pretty much across every single release. I wanted a Perfect Cell even though he's out of scale. I'm pretty sure we'll be getting a new Perfect Cell soon, but I wanted this one, especially since he comes with the Kamehameha effect, and that's pretty cool. And then the other one is Super Saiyan Broly. Now, I was not super keen on getting one of these originally, just because a lot of the older figures don't look super good, and I thought that the proportions for his head and neck seemed a bit odd. But the further I get into collecting SH Figure Arts, the more it seems like I'm just going to collect the lot, or as much of the lot that I can, at least all standard releases, and maybe even P Bandai. But I wanted a Broly for a while. His aftermarket is absolutely disgusting. But I was able to find this for 22,000 yen. And that's pretty insane. The box isn't in the best condition and the figure is noticeably pre-owned. He was covered in dust. I opened him up during the trip and dusted him off. But he's got all his accessories. There's some very, very minor paint imperfections in transfer, which is standard across the board for this release, especially because this release is so old. The paint transfer is pretty much on every single figure because of his gauntlets and where his hand meets the gauntlet, or the bracer. But yeah, no, I've got a Broly and he's in fairly good condition for the price that I paid, especially considering his aftermarket is absolutely insane. 22,000 yen is pretty good. I've paid a lot more for a lot less. But yeah, pretty happy with how that turned out, especially the Broly and Perfect Cell. Then I left that store and came back the next day because they had some figures that I was interested in but I wasn't too sure about, and they had not restocked the area but sort of like tidied it up a bit, so then I could kind of see what was behind some of the other stuff. And then they had the 15th anniversary Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Now I originally wasn't going to get this, but I was really tossing it up because I've got the original release of this, but I was really like on the fence about it because it's the exact same figure just with the base. But something about the box made me want it. I like the slightly unique slipcase, even though it's the cheapest thing in the world. It's literally just a slipcase and it's the exact same figure inside, just with the base and some slightly changed promo images because he's got a base now. So the exact same figure, nothing too crazy. This was brand new. But I just decided to cave on it because, again, I'm not sure if I'm going to collect everything. So I decided to at least cover my bases there. So I grabbed him. Then I grabbed the new releases / re-releases of the Ryu Outfit 2 and Chun-Li Outfit 2 from Street Fighter. These are slight retools of like different paint and shading, but they are relatively the exact same figures from before that they did for the SH Figuarts line. And they have, I think, one new extra face each. Now, I don't have the originals anymore, so I can't do a comparison with them, but they do look very similar. Chun-Li's outfit is a little more light metallic, and Ryu's outfit is a little more shaded. But generally, they're the same sort of figures. Lastly, I was able to get a clear standard aura effect, so the white aura effect, which is good for like non-Saiyans or villains and things like that. A cool little energy effect that is quite standard. And I was able to get the SH Figuarts Piccolo the Prime Namekian. I do already have one of these and I do like my release of these, but this was a brand new copy and they had just recently re-released him, so I don't know if some of the QCs changed. But part of the reason why I wanted this one was because there is a paint error on the swappable arms of my original release. So I wanted to have one that I could have him without the cloak and without the folded arms and look good. And I believe this new release one will do that because the paint should be consistent enough that I'm happy with it. Then in Tokyo, in terms of figures, I think I slowed down massively because I was out of space. But I didn't stop getting stuff. And a lot of the reason why I slowed down as well is because like in places like Akihabara and Nakano Broadway, there's noticeable price hikes on things, unless it's like a major retail chain where they're pretty much locked into a certain price. But I did pick up a few things. So I got the Nier anime soundtrack, so the 1.1A anime soundtrack, just because I assume the soundtrack's as good as the main series. The Distant Worlds Choral Live CD. I collect a lot of the Distant Worlds stuff, and I even went to a Distant Worlds some years ago, but I hadn't heard about the choral thing. I think that was one of the more recent world tours, but they didn't go to Australia, I don't think. So I wanted the soundtrack from that at least. And then I got the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth soundtrack collector's edition, and I thought it looked really cool, especially with the materia in the Buster Sword there. And I had just finished Rebirth right before going on this trip, and the soundtrack in every Final Fantasy is impeccable, regardless of the quality of the game itself. Soundtracks of Final Fantasy games are always amazing. And Rebirth is definitely no exception to that. It is a massive, chunky soundtrack. I know there's like a million different remixes of so many characters' themes because of the way that the soundtrack elegantly moves into every single character's theme and battle themes and overworld themes. I'm sure this soundtrack is absolutely chock full of music, and good music at that. So I'm keen to check that out later. At the Capcom store, I bought this 40th anniversary Capcom notebook, mainly just because the art is really nice on it and I wanted that big group shot of a lot of the Capcom IP. I also got, in a gacha, this Chun-Li carry bag, which I think is cute and fun. In a gacha, I got this Gear 5 Luffy pin. You could only get Gear 5 Luffys in this particular gacha, and this was the one that I wanted, so I'm pretty happy about that. There's some other small stuff. There's just this, I don't know if I'll assemble it later. It's a gacha machine capsule toy. I like these ones. I got more of these guys, the little... Oop. I got more of this guy, this little like reaction shot dude from, I think it was like Bobo or something. And my light just died. Oh well, leave it. But yeah, I got more of these guys because I wanted more reaction shot guys, and I think they're fun. Then I went to the Nintendo store and did the gacha and got this little A and B button. It's kind of cool. You could get different buttons from different controllers. So they had the A and B button from the original NES, the start and select from the original NES, and the D-pad from the original NES. And then also had the Super Famicom version, and then a secret. I think it was the Super Fam. No, the original Famicom version. And then there was a secret. I don't know what the secret one is. But this is pretty cool. It's a nice little fidget toy. It is the actual feel of those buttons. And I thought that was really, really cool. So I went to the Goddess of Victory Nikkei phone game exhibit that they had going on just coincidentally in Ikebukuro at the time. So upon entry you get a random Shikishi. I got Madonia, and that's nice. I also bought a Brid keychain because Brid's one of my favorite characters. She just reminds me of 2B, which is why I grabbed her. This one wasn't from the exhibit. I think I just bought it from Ami. It's Scarlet, the Crimson Scarlet, her ultimate. I got this clear card from one of the blind boxes that they had there of, what's her name? Helm? I like Helm's design. Don't really use her in the game, but I like her design. There were some other random things, but I'm just giving them to friends. This acrylic stand set looked really nice, and it's different art than I'm used to for these characters, of Anis, Rappi, and I forget her name, but that looked nice. I also got keychains, not keychains, badges of Helm, if I can focus, and Alice. I wouldn't have minded the full set of these were pretty nice. I also saw these in a aftermarket, not in aftermarket, but pre-owned in other stores. So people were already reselling them quite a bit. And then I also got this, which is a little portfolio of all of the event characters' outfits, and I thought that was really cool. I wonder if they'll actually release these outfits at some point in the actual game, but I wanted to have something to remember the actual exhibit by, having those unique special outfits and merch from it. So I thought that was really nice. And then lastly, I got the artworks of Berserk at the Berserk pop-up store in Osaka, and I just wanted that because it's a nice reminder of that beautiful, beautiful art style, and hopefully it'll inspire me at some point. But it's just nice. I would like to use some of this for figurine photography at some point, but yeah, it's just something special to have. And that's pretty much it for my haul. I think I did pretty good, all things considered. All of it fit in my suitcase, and I didn't really damage too many boxes. It was mainly just some of the Coogi stuff got a little bit dinged up. But the Figure Arts boxes are in good condition, which I'm happy about because those boxes are notoriously easy to damage. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.